All right, everyone, welcome along. So let's have a talk today about building an app. So we're going to do a really simple app to support our holiday calendar because, as I say, we're going to wrap a process around everything. If we build an app, then it makes it easier for people to know, oh, I need to go here. And the app can start to contain all sorts of things like documentation. You can have links to the app from your Power BI app, so actually where people are going. So again, the whole single pane of glass we've discussed in the past starts to become more and more useful as things like update holidays become available. You probably wouldn't want that in everybody's calendar or in everybody's Power App. But if you got to the point where you say, well, this is, say, the finance team, because they're probably the ones who are most keen on it, you can do it. It might be a case of you saying, well, it's HR who manage our holidays globally. You could put the HR team's app actually have that functionality within it. So you make it very simple and easy for people to do it. Now, coincidentally, PowerApps have got all sorts of automation options now. So I thought, let's have a look and see if we can work out the syntax that's needed to kind of prompt CoPilot to build the app for us with minimum intervention from us. Now the dull bit. We're a YouTube channel. We're dependent on our subscriber counts, and the comments you give us help us manage the content that we're putting out there. Does it make your lives easier? Does it make your lives more difficult? Either way, let us know, okay? And of course, remember the important thing. There's no such thing as a stupid question, only a stupid answer. So if your question is your query or anything you want to comment, put it down, okay? And the pressure is always going to be on us. If you want a more professional service and you think, do you know what, we really need these guys in for our business, contact our consulting partner, Geordie Consulting. Their best bet is to email them at office@geordieconsulting.co.uk and they'll be in touch with you and they'll take your development to the next level. All right, so here we are in GitHub. I've got the prompt here at the moment. Okay, it's in my private repository right now. I'll put it in the public one when we get ready to launch. Okay, but I'm still tweaking it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is copy this. Yeah, so I'm going to hit Control-C. We go over into PowerApps. And at the top of PowerApps now, what you can see is we've got a prompting thing here, right? Like a CoPilot prompt style area. Okay, so I thought, well, let's give this a try. Let's see how this works. I'm going to paste in my prompt. So gotcha number one is that the text prompt you can put into your AI engine is limited. So it's around 250 characters. So I've shortened what we were going to put in. And as I say, I'll fold that back into GitHub. It's not mentioned anywhere on here, is it though? So there's gotcha number one for us. And that's an interesting one. So for all you can tell it to build an app, there's not really much I can put in to give it a prompt to do it. So I've put in my modified prompt. Let's see what it does. Go away and run it. Okay. So here we are, okay? We've got this app development window and it's a bit weird. I'll get rid of my face for you. There we go. Okay. So on the right-hand side, we've got a list of information telling us kind of what's going on. We can make further prompts at the bottom based on what we see we've got. Okay, and in the middle, we've got the schema information that it's built. So we've got holidays, and we can click to view the data, and we can see what it's put in for our holidays. That's not right. And then we've got the occurrences, which is where we're supposed to be able to track it over time. So we've got an occurrence start and occurrence end. That's brilliant. What we've done, there's a few things in here. Words fail me, Microsoft. It's just, all the demos, it looks super slick and easy. It just doesn't work. We're going to come here, go back to the holidays and view the data, right? And what we need to do is we're going to need to get rid of the start date and end date from holidays. So what we can do is we can say we're going to make changes. So we're going to click changes on the right-hand side. It's going to ask us what we want to do. Remove the start date and end date columns. Hit go. Right, let's see. So it's going to say it's working on it. It's thinking about it. And it's removed them. That's excellent. see, let's add a holiday ID column. I did tell it to put IDs in. Okay, so we can see, we can go through, we can tweak this. So we've got now these through here. We've got this one. We can still make sure we've got changes selected. I think we have, yeah, changes. So here what we're going to do is I'm going to change holiday to holiday ID. Because we really want to use the ID column, don't we, for our join. So hopefully it's going to switch this round and we'll have that visible. Okay, so we've got that. So we've got a rough schema now, haven't we? Okay, and from here, what we need to do then is we say, well, we've got something that's going to work for us. So we go through and we click on the done with data. Couldn't see it for a second there. Save and open app. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to go save and open the app. All right, so here we are. Okay, it's built a reasonable app for us to start with. In terms of what we had, not much in it, so it's not really going to make much of a difference. Interesting choice of spellings there, but you know, it is what it is. In terms of what I've had to do, minimal, so I can't really complain. I've started the app, so I've just gone into debug mode by clicking the play icon on the top of it. If we come into holidays, we can see we've got these here. What we could do then is presumably just click new, give it a name, Easter, so we can see, unfortunately, these holidays are not, so it's HID _ 004. Click OK. So we can put in Easter, so that works for us. And then what we do is we can go back to home, then we can choose to go to the occurrences of it, click new, and we can put these in. So we've roughly got something that's going to kind of work for us. Okay, so we put Easter 2025 for it. And we can put those dates in. I'm not sure when it's quite late, isn't it? In April, I've got a feeling it's Easter, so it's there, isn't it? So let's go 21st for the end date. And then it will be the 18th for the start date. Okay, so we've got this period issue. Easy put in, do that, hit OK. Okay, and that's all going to be stored now. And this is all built this in Dataverse. So we've got this in an engine that's ideal for PowerApp development. We've also got it ready to be used within Power BI so we can report on it and pull it into our main holiday calendar. There's definitely some tweaks I would do with this, right? And this potentially isn't the best way of going about it. So I'll tell you what, let's go back to SharePoint. Let's look at what we had in SharePoint and let's fix it and make this work. So here we are, okay, back in SharePoint. Now what we would need to do is just do a few things with this, wouldn't we? So what we could do is let's start by putting in, let's say a choices column. Okay, we'll call this holiday name. Got choices, so it's a type. Sorry, we can now put in which one it could be. So Christmas, Easter, New Year. Now let's just say that, okay? We can add as many as you wanted. You could go down the route of saying we actually could put in a lookup table, a lookup view, going back to a different SharePoint list that we could put in. We could put in a list which just had a list of these names. Potentially using a list would be easier because it's easier to then add things to, because it's a list rather than it being something embedded within a column. But, that's fine. We can also say you can add manually to it. So we can just tick that box. That'll make it easier for people. So hit save. Okay, so we've now got this holiday name. So if we click on it, come into it, we can see when we pick something, we can go, Spring Bank Holiday, which is one of the ones we've got in the UK. Okay, so we've added one there and close that. So we've got the ability to add things in. So we can see we can start to add things here. So the final column we're going to add in terms of our label, we can't add through this add column interface. Just Microsoft, please. What we need to do is we need to go to the cog at the top and we need to go to list settings. And there's a hidden column type that's in here. If we come down here and go create column, because what we want to do is to create a calculated column based on other columns. For some reason, that's not available in the other one. The formula we want to use, okay, is, what should we do? Should we go to CoPilot? Let's see what CoPilot can do for us. So over in CoPilot, in a SharePoint list, I want to create a calculated column based on the text value of a choices column, in brackets, holiday name, and the year from a date column, brackets, start date. Okay, calculate column in SharePoint, tells me how to do it, blah, 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 where you need to go. Oh, and there we get some syntax. So I'll just copy that syntax. Let's come over here into the formula, paste that in there. Oh, find a name for the column, that's label. Hit OK. So if we come through now back to holidays again, we click the breadcrumbs. Let's refresh that. Is it bringing in that column? Yay! Okay, so we've got Spring Bank Holiday 2024. We see we've got these labeled in. All right, this one, of course, these don't have labels. So this was Easter, wasn't it? This was early May bank holiday. Okay, so we've got something already that we can piece together, right? So we've expanded our list. We've started to put in everything we want. We can see label is probably what we would look to use within our app context and for everything. We've got something we could do. As I said, if you want to do more and multiple holiday calendars, you would definitely want to put that choices column out the window and use a separate list. But for this, what we can do is we've got here. So we can now click on automate. So not automate. We can now click on integrate. And then down here, what we've got is PowerApps. So we could choose just to create a PowerApp from it. Create a PowerApp. It'll create a really simple one that enables us to just populate the list and manage it accordingly. Okay, so we've gone through the two approaches to create an app. What we can also do from the PowerApp side of it from here is we can also migrate this into Dataverse. So this is where using SharePoint lists can be a really good way of actually proof of concepting, working through, getting that fine-tuning an app structure that's going to work and the data structure for an app together that's going to work, and then you put it into Dataverse before you productionize it so that it's actually properly secured and managed. Okay, but we've got this. Here we go. Okay, there's some things that we would look to do. Definitely some tweaks we would do, probably like hide the title, overlay the title with the label as we went through and did a publish so that we've got a title in the SharePoint list. We'd hide the title, those kind of things. All those things we would do to make this work more effectively for us. But it didn't take us long to do. It's not difficult. As I say, we can come in here. We can say we're going to add a new holiday. Let's see, can we add something in this? Zoom day. So it's not going to let us add to our list, to our choices from here. Okay, so that's one of the gotchas that you'll get with it. That's the downside, which is again where having a separate table or a separate list would make more sense because you can then add those things in. Okay. So what do you reckon then? That's run a little bit longer than I wanted, but it's given us two options to really bring through, and I think has shown, again, where you can use CoPilot, the level that CoPilot's up to now in real world terms. I mean, I see lots of stuff telling me, oh, you can do all these things. I'm still struggling to get meaningful stuff out of it. And it could just be me. It could be that I don't speak the right language to do it. Okay. But it's still a challenge to get the best out of CoPilot and to really do stuff without having to get in there at some point and do stuff. As I say, what it's doing really well is being a co-pilot for me. So writing the code, writing the syntax that I need at particular points. It's brilliant at doing that. And to be honest, I don't think there's a better way of doing it at the moment. It just seems to be, it saves me the time of having to go and look it up, but it also then just makes it really quick and easy to put the syntax in and to just piece things together. It doesn't take a wizard to want to think, well, this makes sense for me to do. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you think about it as well. Give us your feedback. Would you go down the route of saying, well, we can develop app content now and do the whole proof of concept testing cycle in SharePoint lists? Actually build it, make sure, does the app structure work for us? Is it good? And then we can actually push it through into Dataverse and put the proper security wrappers around it that are needed to productionize a solution. We've got some excellent capabilities within the platform, but we need to think how we're going to use it. And that's really what this video series is all about. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay safe, take care, ta-da.